Hi everyone, it's Peter Schiff. It's Saturday, August 7th, 2010. Well, 4 days until the primary on the 10th. We've got to do whatever we can now to get the word out that I am running in this race. This is a full court press in these final 4 days leading up to the August 10th primary. Now, I've been told that there's going to be another Quinnipiac poll coming out on Monday. It would be great if we can show some type of movement in that poll, a big surge to give voters more confidence that if they vote their conviction, if they vote their conscience and vote for me, that I can win. The only thing that would worry me is that people really want to vote for me, but because of the polling numbers that are low, they end up voting for the lesser of the other two evils because they feel that I don't have a chance. So that would be, I think, the worst thing that could happen to us is that Peter Schiff voters end up voting for their second choice because they don't think their first choice can win. So if we can have some momentum in the poll on Monday, then that's not going to happen. I mean, people will see me moving up. And in fact, I am the underdog in this race. Remember, I'm the guy that had to petition his way onto this ballot. America loves an underdog. They love rooting for an underdog. In fact, that's another reason why I'll be such a good candidate if I get the Republican nomination. Everybody will be rooting for me, as opposed to Linda McMahon. If she gets it, well, she's buying it. She's not the underdog. The sentiment is going to be, don't let Linda buy the election. So if I win, it's a whole totally different dynamic at play. Anyway, let me go over the results of the phone banking yesterday. We had a total of 8,467 calls made by 97 callers. The winner with about, I think, 980 calls was Eric Krenz from Wisconsin. Second place, Dan from Illinois, the same two winners, I believe, from the previous day. And again, close to 1,000 calls apiece. These guys are really putting in the effort. Hopefully, over the weekend, today and tomorrow, we can have a lot more Eric and Dans. Everybody can make close to 1,000 calls, and we can really not only influence the election, but influence these polls that are going to come out on Monday. Remember, the Monday poll is going to take into account the TV ads, the radio ads, the mail campaign, the robocalls, your phone banking, all of this. So it is really important that we touch as many people as we can between now and that Monday poll. Also on some good news, over the last couple of days, the average length of call has increased by 30% versus what it was before. That means that people are staying on the phone longer than they were, which means they have more questions. We're having real conversations. The average call is now 1 minute and 17 seconds. And, of course, that includes where the people immediately hang up. I mean, that's all pickups where it's not a answering machine or no answer. So that means, we talked to close to 3,000 people yesterday, actually talked to them. And, I mentioned that we were doing our own polling. We had polled 200 people. Apparently, it was taking so long to actually reach the people and go through this complete poll that we don't have the resources, so we stopped doing it. But to give you an idea, when you're doing the phone banking, the first thing everybody does is they ask a question. They ask, are you planning on voting in the primary? And if the person responds yes, then the phone banker follows up by saying, who are you going to support? Linda McMahon, Peter Schiff, or undecided? And of those 3,000 or so people that we spoke to yesterday, 31% said they were planning on voting for Linda McMahon, 34% said they were planning on voting for me, and 35% said they were undecided. And remember, this is at the beginning of the phone call. This is before we make the push for Peter Schiff, before we start telling people about the Schiff for Senate campaign. So clearly, I think I have a lot more support than is being evidenced by that last Quinnipiac poll. But needless to say, we want to make sure that the poll on Monday is as encouraging as possible so that I get even more news coverage. Remember, all the media is focusing on Linda, and now they're focusing on Rob. Now, I don't know if Fox News ran the tape of me, the interview, that they were supposed to run Thursday, that they didn't run, and then they apologized and they said they'd run it yesterday. I have seen nothing online that indicates that they actually ran that poll. I haven't found out. I mean, ran that interview. So maybe they scuttled it again. You know, I also know that there was a CNN news story yesterday about a 5-minute segment specifically on the Connecticut Senate race and how it was now tightening up. And they didn't even mention me once. I mean, so according to CNN, it's a two-man race. There was no mention of me whatsoever. In fact, Rob Simmons the other day was a guest on his show. What is it on? Was it on? I think it was MSNBC or Chris Matthews. I forget the name of the show. Hardline. You know, I'm blanking on this thing, but he came onto the show and he was introduced as the only man who can stop Linda McMahon. The only thing between Linda McMahon and the nominations. Hardball, I think that's what it is. Or I still might be wrong. Anyway, but again, no mention of Peter Schiff at all. So if I can have a decent poll number, if I can show some kind of increase, a big increase over this weekend, then maybe I can get some more media, some more, you know, earned media on the Monday before the election day. So let's do what we can. You know, they have the website, SchiffStorm. This is the big weekend. We need to make as many phone calls as we can. We need every supporter that I have throughout the state of Connecticut, throughout the country. There is no excuse. This is the last weekend. I don't care how sunny it is out, how nice the weather is, you got to stay inside. We got to phone from dawn until dusk, or dusk to dawn, or morning to night. We got to stay on these phones. We got to make as many calls as we can. And we got to encourage every registered Republican to come out on Tuesday and vote for Peter Schiff and tell them why they should vote for Peter Schiff. Tell my story. You know my story better than anybody. Just get on the phone and tell it to as many Connecticut Republicans who will listen to you. If we all do this together, we can have an unprecedented phone banking weekend. We can really increase my name recognition and increase the polling in that Quinnipiac poll. We can show some real momentum, make the story Monday night before the election, the surge of Peter Schiff, you know, that I am coming from behind. I want to have all the momentum going into this race. And then people will vote for me. People will say, hey, maybe Schiff can actually pull it off. And as I said, everybody loves an underdog. And imagine the egg on the faces of all these networks, whether it's Fox or CNN or the networks, everybody that refused to cover me, that wrote me off, that ignored me. Wouldn't that be something if I can win anyway? Just imagine how good we'll all feel if we could make them eat that crow. Just imagine. You know, they had paid no attention to me whatsoever, completely underestimated my support, the ability of the Tea Party to rally around a client and propel that client to victory. Think about the mainstream Republican Party. What are these guys going to do when I upset their plans? You know, imagine, you know, what's going to happen on Wednesday morning if the Republican establishment wakes up and Peter Schiff is the winner in that primary. What is the media going to do? Think about what this means for our movement. Think about what this means for other freedom candidates who maybe have already won primaries but still have to win general elections. Me winning this primary is probably the biggest thing that we can do for the freedom movement to get liberty-minded, constitutional, small government candidates elected. Not only my race in the Senate, but other Senate races around the country, House races, anywhere that people who understand these concepts are running. This is going to give them hope. This is going to give them more courage to persevere, and it will give their volunteers and their supporters more incentive to go out there. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Let's make me proud this weekend. I am out on this bus all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm not getting back to my house until Monday night. And then, of course, I'm going to be visiting all the polling centers on Saturday. We also, of course, need as many volunteers in Connecticut as we can to be up on the polling stations on Tuesday, all day long, with signs, encouraging people last minute. Remember, a lot of people said they're going to change their mind. Some people might not make up their mind until they're in the voting booth. We have to make sure that we are there, making sure that when they change their mind, they change it for me. And the one thing I know for sure, the people who are committed to voting for me, there's no way they're going to change their mind because they believe in me. The people who are voting for Linda, you know, they could easily change their mind. We can change it for them. You can change it for them. Anyway, take care, everybody, and thanks a lot for your help.